A single Etsy product that is doing over $20,000 in revenue, potentially over $20,000 in revenue in less than 5 months. But if you stay until the end, we're actually not going to stop there. We are going to go over 3 additional case study examples that are even doing more revenue for being less than a year old. Okay. So the first one is actually probably going to be the least revenue per month. And as we move into the other case studies, it's actually going to get more. So as you know, on this channel, I do not like to sell the dream to people, right? So we throw out big numbers, and a lot of times, it can be a little clickbaity, right? It can be a little clickbaity, but I try, if I am going to throw out clickbaity things like that, I want it to be legit, right? Like we want to actually have case study examples to back what we're throwing out there, right? So we're going to break down everything with numbers, estimations, just like if you were going to go and do competitor analysis and try to gauge the opportunity in the market, we're going to do the same thing. And I'm going to show you how to do the same thing in this video, as well as reveal those product types to you. All right. So with that being said, let's get into this video. All right, guys. So one thing I just want to mention with these case study examples, we validated that there is no outlier successes. So all these projected revenues are coming directly from, their sales are coming from Etsy. They're not going viral on TikTok or anything like that. So let's talk about this first really beautiful best-selling item right here. So this is a really good practice, and me doing this for these case study products is a really good habit if you're looking to do any type of business. Before you launch your business idea, you want to go validate that maybe you have a similar competitor and you want to pull out some projections, some key performance indicators, KPIs that are saying that this is winning. And this is estimated, obviously, because we don't have their projected, sale. Like we don't actually know how much money they're making, but we can infer how much they're making based off of what we see on Etsy. So there's a lot of tools that do this automatically for you, but those are also very heavily estimated. So in recent times, I kind of just like to do it myself. When you go to these other tools, they're taking a bunch of different shops and then making projections, right? Where you're kind of making the projection yourself, and it takes you a whole 2 minutes to try to do it yourself. And at least it's more hyper targeted to the actual, competitor that you're looking at. So this whole shop only has 154 reviews. 95% of their sales are coming from this product because they actually only have 2 products in their whole shop. So they only have 2 listings live in their shop, right? So we can pretty confidently say that this one is making 90% of their sales. So 154 reviews. Again, this is me showing you how I'm doing this. If I come in here and I look at their most recent reviews and I go to the first review that came in. All right. So the first review came in February, like towards the end of February. So that means if they launched it at the beginning of February, this listing is about 5 months old. So in 5 months, they got 150 reviews. The total shop has done about 559 sales. So let's just say that in total, this is, again, you're building key performance indicators. You're pulling out data to say whether or not something is working. So let's just break this down. So it has made 500 sales in 5 months, right? Their average order value, if we take their 2 average sale prices, so if we do 36 plus 50 divided by 2, that's 43 times 500 sales. And we're always making these estimations kind of off worst case numbers, right? So in total, it's done about 21,500 in the last 5 months, right? Kind of trying to make it worst case scenario, right? If it was only 500 sales off of this listing, right? Now let's divide that by 5 months, and that's $4,300 per month on a single listing that's brand new. So like less than 5 months old. That's a really new listing, I would argue, in the platform. Etsy says it could take up to 180 days just to index a listing. So 3 months. So pretty good revenue on a single product line. So now you're probably like, well, Hannah, you said $20,000 per month on a single product line. Well, what I'm proposing here is, okay, well, this shop has one single listing already doing about $4,500 per month. But what if this one listing turned into an additional 10 listings per month? But then the question is, but Hannah, you said $20,000 per month on a product. Well, this single product here is a gift basket. In their entire shop, they have 2 offerings. They have this gift basket that is clearly working with this value proposition. So estimated $4,300 a month. But let's pretend, what they did here is chose a very viral or a very loyal icon. People that like sunflowers love sunflowers. So let's think of other icons that could potentially have that same viral effect. So what I did was simply went to
ChatGPT
and I made the prompt. So what are other different types of icons that people are super loyal to? Like people that love sunflowers put sunflowers everywhere in their house. Their placemats are sunflowers. Their wall art sunflowers. So how do we have that same effect but on different items? So in ChatGPT, I asked, what are icons that people are obsessed with, like sunflowers or bees, where they tend to buy products that resemble that icon? So what do we have? Owls. My grandma loved owls. My grandma had a wall of owls. Unicorns, succulents, it says stars and moon, but then I was thinking like, your stars, your sign, like Virgo, Scorpio, stuff like that. So dedicated boxes that are just all Virgo stuff. Flamingos, mandalas, cats, mermaids is another one. So what if, right, this $4,300 a month value proposition. So when I say value proposition, so what you see for price, but what you get. So you're getting card, you're getting a branded box, you're getting a blanket, you're getting a candle, you're getting little sockies. So what if you did this same thing, but then just duplicated it, and instead of sunflowers, it was mermaids or dogs or bees. Bees is another huge one. So now we just turned that $4,300 a month product times 10. So let's just pretend then that this is the only one that does that much revenue. So we always, again, we want to estimate based off worst case scenarios when you're doing these projections. When you're looking at a product opportunity and trying to decide whether it's worth your while, you always want to make things very much worst case scenario. And so let's pretend that we launch 10 other same value proposition, same thing. We know that this price point works. We know that this image works. This is a very white image, which historically white image photography normally doesn't perform like this. It's not that it can't perform. It's just normally you want to stage it not on a white background. So let's just make this worst case scenario. So let's pretend that, we have our hottest one is only sunflower doing, worst case 4,300, and we launch these other 10 products. And let's just say in worst case, they all only do on average $2,000 per month. So that's 2,000 times 10, or let's make it even worse. Let's just say they only do 1,800 on average each, because maybe one does 3,000 and one only does $800. So we do 1,800 times our 10 new products plus our one that's already doing 4,300. There you go. And now in your shop, you just achieved over $20,000 per month on a single product type, that is gift baskets. Not to mention, in this listing, you have two options. You have a 10-piece set and you have a 15-piece sunflower set. My guess here is you could even create another entry. You can even make an additional lower ticket item. Or my guess is as well, they probably could even start increasing their price, because this is a really sexy value proposition. The biggest thing that's working for them right now is that they're seeing this price, but they're seeing all of these things that you get. So they're seeing this big bundled set for $35.99. Now the biggest one obviously is $50, but even for $50, the perceived value of this item is really, really high. And it's my guess is they're buying a lot of these things in bulk where, this is probably costing them, 50 cents. This is costing them 10 cents. This is costing them. So there's still a lot of margin to play done correctly. Okay. So this next one is a personalized men's bracelet. So this is crushing it. So let's just talk about some of the numbers of this one. So this is another shop where about 90% of their traffic is all sales is coming from this one item. So let's just, again, we're going to do the same thing. Let's run some worst case numbers. Or let's just go back here, 2,600 sales, but let's just say that out of these 2,600 sales, only 2,500 was from that bracelet, which can say that's probably pretty close. Their prices range going from $24 all the way up to a $140 purchase. So let's just say, their average order value is $50, right? So let's go ahead and do times 50, right? That's over $125,000 in 5 months. So let's divide that by 5, right? So that is $25,000 a month on one listing, okay? Right, on a single product. So where's the opportunity lie here? So one, they're doing the right things with having a tier of upsells. So you jump from 29, so they see 29, but then you can get them up to 140, which if you don't understand why this is so valuable, is because when you see a lower price on the front end, any con that you can think of, the pros outweigh, right? The hardest part about this is earning the click. So when they see this full personalized bracelet for $24.90, the value proposition, the perceived value is high, so you earn that click. Now you earn the click, and now you can upsell them and let your video and all of your beautiful branding sell them on the actual listing, and then turn that $20 purchasing decision into a $50 purchasing decision. So the pros outweigh the cons. I have competitors that jump from $15 to $450 from their drop down menu, right? And if Etsy's seeing that people are historically spending more money on your listing compared to your competition, having a tier of upsells is going to help you in the organic SEO as well. So they're doing all of the right things. Now, what I would do here to even put more fuel on the fire with this, right? They're only offering one color type. But Hannah, you can't offer more than 2 variation options. So one of the first things that I would showcase in one of these top images is actually multiple colors, right? So maybe in the second image, I'd show, we have black, we have brown, maybe we have white, and yeah, you can't buy it from this listing, but the graphic would say different color options available in our shop. So now you get them to go in your shop, find other things to purchase, all of the things. All right, this second extra case study example is one that's really interesting. So it's nail art, basically. Now, this one is probably the most unrelatable, right? Because not everyone has the skill set, or it would take you a long time to acquire the skill set to, basically be able to make this. But the reason I'm sharing this is because even if you're not somebody that could do this, to find a business partner where you were the business and someone else was the artist would be pretty easy, because it's just a matter of going and finding the talent and either partnering with them or having them work for you and do this. And the numbers definitely make sense. So when you come into a shop like this, right? This shop, by the way, is only 4 months old and has had over 2,500 sales. So let's run some worst case scenario numbers. Let's see, the price jumps. The price is the same throughout. So let's just say it's $26 for a set, right? So let's just run some numbers, right? 2,500 sales times, let's just say it's $26, right? That's $65,000 in 4 months, right? So that's about $16,000 a month. But the crazy thing about this type of product is that your return customer rate is probably insanely high, because this is something you're going to wear and then you're going to want different ones eventually, right? So your return customer rate is extremely, extremely high. And I really like this opportunity because the talent to find a nail artist that can make this is probably not as hard as you think. So in some of my courses in the past, right? Like if you are more of a business mindset person and you're not as much as a creative person, some of the best business partnerships is actually going and finding that creative person while you take over the business side. So the listing optimization, the images, right? Doing the fulfillment, setting up the operations for the fulfillment, all of that stuff, right? By the way, guys, I have a free Etsy starter course. It's inside my all-in Etsy masterclass. I unlocked the first 4 modules of this course for free. So there I talk about more of the operations side of things, right? And how to run an efficient fulfillment room. And we also talk about looking at analyzing the market. We talk about a whole bunch of stuff. So make sure you sign up for that if you want to get into that free course. Again, it's the opening of my all-in masterclass, but it's the first 4 modules that you get for free, basically, where we cover all of this type of stuff. But anyway, back to this is, I talk about partnerships, and like the best partnerships in business is when you and your partners are completely opposite. You bring 2 completely different values. And so if you wanted to find somebody that could do this, you probably could find it pretty easily just by going to your local nail salon and, people that have really, really good work. Now, or, even if it wasn't nails, right? Like one thing that usually works really well is going to local farmers markets as well and seeing, a lot of these people that are super, super creative have no insight on how to actually run a profitable business, right? In which case, you could take someone that is already has a proven product in a farmer's market and bring them to the online space if you're ever, someone looking for help. Okay, and finally, the last one here is this Tallow Premium Balm or skincare products. So why do I really like this? I really like this because skincare also has an extremely high return customer rate. Like people that buy your skincare, they're going to buy it over and over again. And also the margins on this should be pretty good depending if you're making this yourself or if you're using a production partner, which by the way, you can find production partners or private label partners for anything, right? If I come up here, I just did a pretty easy organic search here and I looked up, private label manufacturing for skincare. Right? There's hundreds, thousands of these types of companies all over the country. So this company, I did find that they did have Instagram. But they're not driving their Instagram to Etsy, right? So all of this sales traffic is coming only from inside Etsy. So let's just run the numbers here. So they've had about 1,800 sales in about 6 months, worst case, right? Their average order here, let's just say in between, $17 and $34, right? So if we do, let's just make it really as unsexy as possible times $24, right? That's $43,000 in 6 months, right? That's about $7,000 a month, right? And they have 7 products in their store. They also have 2 images, right? So this could be full with testimonials, a video of like a montage of different people on, Instagram using it, right? Even though there's no sound, it could have subtext, right, of the results, right? So there's a lot of opportunity here. And overall, I think what they did really well was build something that positions themselves as very competitive, as being organic, right? For, the type of product it is, right? And so going out and learning how to produce a skincare line would be no different than, going out and learning how to sew dog collars, right? You know what I mean? There's going to be a learning curve with any of this stuff. But the point is, and what I like to showcase is like how attainable it is and what you would have to do to be able to compete. So in this case scenario, I'm assuming the reason that this is doing so well is because of the actual ingredients and the organic aspect to it, right? But as far as the listing optimization and the amount of product offerings they have, there's not much happening here. Overall, guys, thank you so much for staying to the end. Again, this is just me highlighting different legitimate business opportunities that are already having a proof of concept for what they want to sell, right? So the hardest part about business is getting a proof of concept that people want what you have to sell. And this little, practice that we just went through, whether it's with these products or other people's products, right? It's good to create projections and estimate, what the potential is for your idea and what are some of the things that we would have to do to compete. Overall, guys, thank you so much again for staying to the end. Make sure you get into my free starter course where we go through not only this practice a lot more in depth, but we go into other things when it comes to starting an Etsy shop for the first time. But hope to see you inside that free starter course. And yeah, I'll see y'all in the next video.